It was announced on the weekend that Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda will be driving in at AlphaTauri next season. Before I get into this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more stuff like this. So let's just get straight into it. So it was announced, I believe it was before practice or after practice. I'm not too sure because I was asleep, so I didn't see it. I only saw it before qualifying. That Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda had been rewarded with a drive in AlphaTauri for 2024, which means Liam Lawson does not get the seat for next season. He'll be a reserve driver next season, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens from him there. Does he eventually get the Red Bull seat in the future, the AlphaTauri seat in the future? Does he go to another team as well? That's another question for another day. Actually, we'll speak about a bit more in this video later on. But first of all, I want to go over Yuki Tsunoda. He has had a good year this year, a massive step up from the last 2 years, and he's kind of proving himself to me that he is a Formula 1 caliber driver. He can race at this level. I think over the past 2 years there has been that sort of concern with quite a few mistakes, being away off his teammate Pierre Gasly. As we know, Pierre Gasly is a great driver, so it's really hard to kind of compare up to. But still, when you're in Formula 1, you're compared to your teammate, doesn't matter who it is. And he's kind of a bit under pressure there. But this year, amazing year, picking up 3 points for the AlphaTauri team, who haven't had the greatest of years. They've recently had upgrades, so they're looking much stronger now. But really driving the wheels of that car, Yuki Tsunoda, and I think he does deserve to be in that car. And you can understand it where the team is changing, and to have some familiarity around the team, with the team names changing. Franz Tost is moving on at the end of the season as well, and to have someone who's kind of familiar with the team, it's quite a useful thing. AlphaTauri also having links with Honda as well, obviously having a Honda engine in the car, although it's a Red Bull powertrain. So with those Honda links, it kind of does help him secure a seat, because I think he's more of a Honda driver than he is a Red Bull driver, if that makes sense. But he deserves the seat as well. It's not just because, they have a Honda engine, he's in the car or whatever. It's not just that. He's had really good performance this year, and he's really impressed me. And up against all these teammates, he's done fairly well. To adapt to up against 3 different drivers, it can be quite difficult. And I think he's done those challenges really well. Up against De Vries at the start of the year, who comes into Formula 1 with a great CV. Formula 2 champion. Yes, it took him 3 years, but you don't win the Formula 2 for no reason, do you? And he also had Charles Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Albon, some great drivers racing the 2 years before. So you can kind of justify that in that sort of way. And obviously winning Formula E as well. Formula E isn't the most kind of credited, probably best series, but you still got to win it at the end of the day. So he did really well up against De Vries, and up against Ricciardo. He only had 2 races, and it's really hard to kind of prove yourself in 2 races. And he's only had 2 races up against Lawson as well. Yes, we can look at qualifying, for example, but there's been 2 races where Yuki Tsunoda didn't even start the race. We started one race, and then the next race in Singapore, retired early from a puncture within half a lap. So there's not much he could have done in those races. So Japan was a perfect kind of example to kind of see his performances up against Lawson, and they were kind of fairly close with each other on performances, which is good to see. And finally they're able to kind of fight. Obviously that lap 1 battle between the 2 AlphaTauris is really interesting, where Lawson's basically going, well, I'm out of the seat next season, might as well just go for it. And defended and battled really well, and Yuki Tsunoda going just sending it, and really good fair racing from the two drivers. Ricciardo getting that seat as well. Of course, not the best times at McLaren. I wasn't particularly impressed with him at McLaren. I think he let the team down quite a bit when Lando Norris was getting those high points, and we had Ricciardo down in like 14th place, and really unacceptable to be that far off your teammate. And it's not like he was off the pace in the race, it was in qualifying as well, which is the true test to see how far off you are to your teammate. And but yeah, he's had a decent year at Renault. Struggled to adapt in the first year, and in Red Bull really impressed, and so did Toro Rosso. So he comes with a lot of experience and a great caliber of driver he is. Great marketability he has, especially with that team name changing, with Franz Tost moving on, and so with Yuka Tsunoda there as well, having that experience already being in the team really helps. And then obviously Ricciardo as well, being able to bring this fan base over. And I think he's one of the only drivers on the grid that I think everyone likes. I think people have their dislikes for Max, people have their dislikes for Lewis, Charles Leclerc, all these little drivers, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, but I don't think there's anyone who is very much, I dislike Daniel Ricciardo. There's a few people obviously, but just generally he's able to bring people to the team and bring attraction to the team, and he's going to be the guy, he's going to be selling those caps and stuff like that to the fans, and everyone's going to all buy the merch, and it's going to help AlphaTauri as a brand. And don't forget as well is that Ricciardo's still a Red Bull driver in that way, obviously being with Red Bull in the past and was there as a third driver at the start of the year as well. And don't forget AlphaTauri, they are a team who are, it's another way to advertise Red Bull. AlphaTauri is the clothing brand for Red Bull, so it's advertising Red Bull in a different way. Toro Rosso was just Red Bull in, it was Red Bull in French or Italian, sorry. So it's advertising it in another way to market Red Bull, and that's what Ricciardo is going to do. And he's clearly a favourite by Red Bull. They really do like him, and they want to get him back into that Red Bull seat if possible, because they know how much value he brings. I think he brings more value off the track than on the track in some sort of way. Off the track in terms of the experience and his marketability. And it's massive for a team like AlphaTauri, who are quite a small team, don't forget. They were literally Minardi, inheriting Minardi. Red Bull Minardi, Italian. They're still kind of that base team, so they kind of do have that little inheritance in their team. So they're not a massive team. They're not, they just have the Red Bull branding on their car, and backed by Red Bull. That's literally it. They're literally just a minority, but backed by Red Bull, and so that's going to be a massive help, Ricciardo. And I like the fact that Ricciardo is back in Formula 1 because I think he is a top 20 driver, so he deserves to be in Formula 1. But AlphaTauri, don't forget the aim of AlphaTauri is to produce the junior drivers to eventually go up into the big seat and make sure they can prove themselves. Well, Ricciardo has already proven himself in Formula 1 that he can win races, and over the past few years hasn't done too great. So if you're looking at that from an AlphaTauri's point of view, from a Red Bull point of view, that doesn't make sense. You would want to put Lawson in that car, who's going to be that future to then eventually go into that Red Bull car. But I think AlphaTauri have struggled and need that experience and need that figurehead to kind of help develop the car and move it up forward. And Gasly was a massive driver in that. Obviously, he was racing in Japan before, has a great relationship with Japan in the Honda engines and things like that, was able to develop the AlphaTauri really well. Have good relationships with the Japanese people around the team, of course. And that's why he got the Red Bull seat as well, because he was familiar with the Red Bull seat. Going into the Red Bull in 2019, was fairly familiar and could really kind of help. And Gasly, experienced fast driver, he can help develop the car, and that's how he was able to do really well in 2020 and 2021. And they need someone else like that, and Ricciardo is probably the only driver out there who can kind of do that at the moment, who's relatively fast and active. So in that terms, it does make sense for AlphaTauri as a team. If you strip back the Red Bull, it makes sense to bring Ricciardo in. It completely makes sense from that point of view. But I'm looking at it from a Red Bull point of view, thinking it should be Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. If you're looking at it from a Red Bull point of view, their values. And I don't know if those values have kind of slipped away of what the AlphaTauri means. Are they trying to give more license and freedom for AlphaTauri to pick and choose who they want? Is that the case, maybe? Or is Red Bull still well and truly kind of massively influencing who goes into that seat or not? That is going to be interesting. Now, Helmut Marko is still involved with that team and some of the decisions, but is he massively involved in going Ricciardo in that seat, Yuki Tsunoda in that seat? Is he as massively involved? Are they kind of stepping back and allowing AlphaTauri to make their own decisions to benefit them? Because don't forget, as I said, they are Minardi with Red Bull on them, so they still run as their own team, just with some Red Bull stickers and Red Bull backing on their car. But overall, I'm quite shocked that it happened this early on. I thought it happened much later on in the season. Because I said about let's give it a couple of races or so. Let's see if Ricardo come back, see what he can offers, and haven't had that chance to see what Ricardo offered. So it's interesting. I think Lawson's very unlucky to miss out in a way. He's had a really good start to his Formula 1 career, and definitely something that everyone needs to look out for is another team going to pick him up? Could it be another Piastri situation at Alpine? Williams are looking for a new driver as well. I don't think Sargent is going to continue next season. I just don't see the point in them keeping I don't see the point in them keeping Sargent Williams, because the amount of damage he's causing to the team, and it happened to Mick Schumacher at Haas. A couple of instances piling up the money, and Haas not being that rich of a team in a cost cap era as well. It's not something that Haas needed, and it's the same with Williams as well. Not the richest of teams as well in a cost cap era. And we hear James Vowles, who speaks wonderfully. What a guy! We hear him all the time speak about building this project, this 5-year plan. Is Sargent going to be a part of that 5-year plan? And you look at the team, and is there the weak spots to the team? And I think Sargent is fairly the kind of the weak spot to that team. Could Lawson get that seat? Hearing things about Drogovic in that car as well, it's going to be interesting to see. He obviously comes with a bit more pedigree, and being in and around Formula 1 and Aston Martin, so kind of has like a little bit of experience within Formula 1. And I think Sargent was jumped into the car much earlier, but that's another conversation for another day. So could Lawson go after Williams? We don't know. I don't know who could be in that seat. Could Williams be waiting out for Vesti in Formula 2 if he does win the championship? That could be another thing as well. But the whole Williams situation and the driver's seat, I think I'll do a video on that as well eventually. We obviously know that Albon will be in that seat, and hopefully for the foreseeable future as well, as he's someone who can build a team around. But overall, I can understand Red Bull and AlphaTauri's decision on the AlphaTauri seat. Do let me know your guys' thoughts on the driver lineup. Do you disagree? Do you agree? And is there any other little bits I've maybe missed out? Some of the little key factors that have played into this decision. Do you think Lawson was fairly unlucky? Do you think he would get a move to Williams or whatever? And yeah, I appreciate all you guys watching. Please obviously like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Bell notification as well, because you don't want to miss an upload, because I've got plenty of content right around the corner. So make sure you stay tuned to that and keep an eye on this channel for more stuff like this, for more commentary, more review, analyst type stuff. So make sure you stick around for all that stuff. Make sure, as I said, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Just do it. Just like you got this far into the video, you've clicked onto this video, you see me speak all this rubbish, so you might as well just subscribe and like. And thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, and peace.